Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Toastmasters meeting, Roseburg speakers and storytellers. I welcome you all as the Sergeant of Arms, and I would remind you with the basic rules for Toastmasters and basic rules of speaking in a Zoom environment. So be kind and considerate to the speaker who is talking, and therefore please mute yourself if you are not, if it's not your turn to speak. And at the same time, don't forget to unmute yourself when you are speaking. This is a Toastmaster meeting. So in Toastmaster, there are 3 topics that we avoid: sex, religion, and politics. Besides that, be compassionate and friendly to the other speaker. And to be able to do that, the best thing is to switch on our videos so that we can emote, and that makes a huge difference. So please switch on your video if you can. And with this, I will pass on to our presiding officer, Mary, to please take it over.
Thank you, Yasmin, for that lovely opening, and welcome fellow Toastmasters and guests to the second happiest place on earth, which is our RSS Toastmaster meeting. It's great to see all of you. I feel like I have been on a hiatus since March, popping in and out of Toastmaster meetings, but I'm back home in Waldorf, Maryland, outside of Washington, D.C. for the next 3 weeks. So I will be joining you and looking forward to that, and looking forward to exciting meetings. Do we have any new guests today? I don't see brand new face. I think that's great. Okay, well, it's wonderful to see all of you here, and most especially a warm welcome to Michelle. We've missed her, and I know she's going through a lot, so we'll be keeping her in our prayers and thoughts. With that, I'd like to turn our meeting over to our wonderful Toastmaster today, Lauren Christensen, to introduce the theme and the rest of the meeting. Lauren, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm your Toastmaster for today, and today's theme is Disneyland/Disney. Today, the first Disneyland park opened, and it was a disaster. The Walt Disney invited about 1,000 or so people to come to the park on opening day, and somehow, and for some reason, people printed counterfeit tickets, and so there were actually 30,000 guests, which the park was not prepared for. They ran out of food and drinks pretty fast, and there's a ride where you ride on a steamboat that almost capsized because there's too many passengers. But as you all know, this day didn't define the rest of Disneyland's success. Disneyland is one of the most popular theme parks and the happiest place on earth. So its first day didn't define its future. It was built on 160 acres of former orange groves in California, Southern California. And Walt Disney wanted it to be an educational and fun experience for kids and adults. Now we're going to meet our facilitator team for today. And let's start with the timer. Everyone, please welcome today's timer, Heidi.
Good morning. I guess you guys are in the morning time. China is at the midnight. Okay. I'm today's timer, and I give you the rules for the speeches that less than 3 minutes. When I show you the cars, like green cars, means you got 1 minute left. And when I show the yellow car, means that you got 30 seconds left. And when you see the red car, means you got time is up, and then you got to wrap up in 15 seconds for the speakers that less than 3 minutes. And then for the speakers that are more than 3 minutes, like 5 to 7 minute speakers, when you see the green car, means you got 2 minutes left. And then when you see the yellow car, means you have 1 minute left. When you see the red car, means time is up. You got to wrap up in 30 seconds. So I hope all of you will pay attention to my camera and then control your time. And then by the end of the meeting, I will deliver a brief report for your time performance. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Heidi. Next is the counter. Well, it looks like Mary stepped away, so we will get back to her after Grammarian, which is Teton.
Thank you, Lauren. Very happy morning, afternoon, evening, fellow Toastmasters. I'm very happy to serve as a grammarian today. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers, listening carefully to the language usage, and I'll take note of outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. And as grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day for today's meeting is fantasy. Fantasy is a noun. It means the activity of imagining things, especially the things that are impossible or improbable. Example of the word fantasy in a sentence. The children's eyes sparkled with wonder as they entered the realm of fantasy through the pages of their favorite books. I will provide my grammarian's report when called upon by the general evaluator at the end of the meeting. Thank you. Over to you, Lauren.
Thank you. Next, we'll have the counter, Mary.
Thank you, Toastmaster Day. Sorry about that. The pen I had wouldn't write, so I run and find another pen. As the counter, it's my role to count filler words, and filler words are the words that slip into our speaking when we are not sure what to say next. Our brain might be going faster than our mouth can keep up. So we do words like you know, so, or we repeat a phrase several times to try to catch up. So that does detract from our message, and we will be trying to get rid of those filler words. And I will be doing it for everybody except for Tiger, because Tiger said he's exempt from us. Not true. We're all part of this. So I will be giving a report later in the meeting. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you. Next, we'll have the prepared speeches, then table topics, and then evaluation. The first speaker is Dinny, and her speech is level 1 effective coaching, vocal variety. So please welcome Dinny.
Okay, before I start my speech, I would like to clarify that that is the path that Tiger takes. Sorry, I haven't informed mine. Mine is engaging humor, level 1. Life is a journey, a path of twists and turns of questions and answers. Sometimes we have the answers within ourselves, while at other times we must embark on a quest to uncover them. Ladies and gentlemen, not long ago, my mentor, Natalie, asked me a question. Hey, Dini, what is your strength? When I heard that question, I was just left speechless. And the only thing that came to my mind was just, I don't know, Nat. Yes, you heard it right. Despite being a Toastmasters member for 5 years and witnessing many great speakers around me and fantastic members just like you in RSS, I still couldn't recognize my own strength. And after I pondered over Natalie's intriguing question for me, I had a huge conflict with my inner self. Hey, Dini, wake up. Can you remember all the things that you have done on stage? Well, yeah, I've done a lot, but still, I don't know. Oh, come on. Remember again. Can you remember how you can reach this point? Well, okay. But I think that I'm not that good. I still like many things. So later, in the next mentoring with Natalie, she asked me another question. Okay, Dini, now think about what comes naturally to you. I'm not sure, Nat. What is it? Okay, that's okay. Now think about what you can do easily. Well, let me think about it. And once again, I sat down and had the same question in my head. What is my strength? The fact is, I often hesitated and questioned myself. And after a long consideration, I only thought about 2 things. The first one is performing on stage. The second one is engaging with people. Wait a minute. Yes, that's it. Finally, I got the answer. Those passions fill me with excitement. Now, let me tell you, I can still remember how excited I was during my first storytelling competition. Also, I will never forget how thrilled I was when I became a theater actor. Interesting, wasn't it? That was my first time embodying a new character that was totally opposite to me. Can you imagine different Dini on stage? Yes, that was me. And these experiences ignited my love for stage performances. Another unforgettable experience. It was the Toastmasters Club Speech Contest in 2020. During this moment, it was my first time being vulnerable in front of people. It was the moment I mustered my courage to talk about my painful experiences of enduring physical abuse for years. Wow, chills. The scars and the wounds still left rent-free in my heart. But when I think about it again, those moments allowed me to create a powerful bond with people just like you who listen to me now. When I'm on stage, I can be anyone I desire, and I can act like a child dancing to any song. And the most important thing is, I can be myself when I'm on stage. So now, if you ask me once again, Dini, what is your strength? My true strength lies in my ability to captivate people with my story. Dear my fellow friends in RSS, in a nutshell, life is indeed hard, and this journey of self-discovery gave me a valuable lesson. A self-discovery may take time, but that is life. Sometimes it's quick, while at other times you may need guidance just like me to unravel your true potential. Now, my question to you now, have you discovered your strength, everybody? Remember, each one of us is unique. Now, let us embrace the quest for self-discovery that will lead us to a meaningful fulfillment and growth. Back to you, Toastmasters of the meeting.
Thank you, Denny, for that amazing speech. It's good to hear you found fun and peace in the fantasy of acting and all that. Next, oh, and I apologize about introducing Tiger's speech in replace of yours. Next is Tiger as speaker 2. He is the one that will be talking about his speech is level 1 effective coaching. His title is My Stories of My Mentor.
The first time I met Michelle was in a Goodwill store in a very small town. For those of you who don't know about Goodwill, it's a place where they sell used clothes and things like this. She was wearing a Toastmasters shirt. I had been in Toastmasters before, but I'd only been in this town for about 4 months, and I hadn't really explored the local Toastmaster groups. She immediately invited me to her local club. I did table topics for a few sessions, and then she convinced me to give a speech. Actually, that's not even the beginning. Is she paid for my membership. My first speech, my icebreaker speech, was about how difficult it was for me to find a job in a new town, especially considering my past. I gave my speech, and several days later, I was voted out of the club because of my background. Michelle was devastated. I have never seen this woman sad since then, but she was sad as she told me that this club had kicked me out. She also got angry and quit the club herself. For the next 2.5 years. Yes, 2.5 years. She tried and tried and tried to get me to come back to Toastmasters. Finally, the beginning of 2019, she convinced me there was an online club. Mind you, this was before COVID. And that these people were a storytelling club and they welcomed me with open arms. I had nothing to lose, so I showed up. Immediately, the president from Australia let me know in front of the whole group they did not care about my past. All he cared about was what I contributed to that club. They treated me with respect and I joined. Julie, who some of you have met here at RSS, who just turned 89 years old, volunteered me to join the humor contest. Now, I was very inexperienced with this little box called Zoom, and I gave a contest and I was all over the place. But despite my antics, I won the humor contest. This gave me a lot of confidence. And Michelle convinced me to join a small local club. Now, this club was struggling. Within a few months, it got down, there was only 3 of us. It's Michelle, Kevin, that some of you have met, and myself. And Kevin announced that he had just been deployed to Africa. So now we're down to 2 people. Kevin announced to me, Tiger, you are now the president of this club. The president of what? Michelle, being the eternal optimist, convinced me that we should go online and introduce our friends and start an online club, which we did. We introduced about 8, 9 people, 10 people to our first meeting. We had great meetings, and then COVID hit. We were already online and people came literally by the dozens. We were having meetings of 30 people because people wanted to come to see what we did for online club. And lo and behold, that's where RSS came from. We went from 3 members to 23 members in just a few months. After that, she kept after me to get into district leadership. I was the president of the club. She had seen something in me. I did not want to get involved with district leadership, but Michelle, being Michelle, got a hold of the district leader, the district governor, and he called me and convinced me to take up an area directorship. This was during COVID. When I had that area, we started out with 5 clubs. By the time we were done, I only had 3. I did such a great job, and then they wanted me to be a division director. So I went on to be the division director. When I started, there were 13 clubs. By the time I was done, there was 9. I probably have the worst track record of any leader in District 7. Finally, after 2 years of being involved in district leadership, I got to do what I dreamed of. Compete in the humor contest, compete in the speech contest. And again, this was Michelle going, okay, you did your district leadership. Follow your dream. I competed just this last session, and it was a great experience. As a matter of fact, this is now my passion, to compete. And one of the reasons I want to compete, besides the fact that I have an ego, I know this is absolutely shocking to you people that I am competitive and have an ego. It's true. But beyond that, what I love to do is coach other people. It is such a fantastic experience to see somebody do a speech, give them feedback, and then see improvement, especially in contests. And I have coached a number of people, several district champions in speeches. I'm quite jealous because I got 3rd. Of course, I should have won, but the judges, obviously didn't know what they were doing. I am jealous of these people that got district championships. That's my goal. And I'm going to keep competing until I become a district champion, because once I become a district champion, I get a big old trophy. And that's all that's important. No, honestly, I want to be a district champion because it gives me credibility so that I can coach other people. Without Michelle, ladies and gentlemen, I would not be here. My Toastmaster journey the last 4.5 years has been the best experience of my life. And without her, that would have never happened. Go find your mentor and say how much you appreciate them. Today or tomorrow, get a hold of them and tell them how much you appreciate them. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tiger, for that speech, and it's inspiring to see your drive. I'm glad Michelle is in our group and you're also in our group. A fun fact about Disneyland before we move on to table topics is the first Disneyland ticket was $1. Disney's brother was the first person to buy a ticket ever. Now it's over about $100 for a day pass. Yasmin is our table topics master. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Toastmaster of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, and fellow Toastmasters. Are we all excited? Yay! We have to be. If the theme is Disney theme, we all have to be excited. In the land of fantasies, isn't it? Okay, cool. I see some messages flowing in, but let me not get distracted. Imagination, fantasy, it's all Disney, isn't it? Okay, let me ask you, what is your best fantasy besides Disney World? What is your best fantasy beside Disney World? Who I'm gonna pick it? I know I'm gonna pick Mary because she's so into Disney World, and I need to know from her what's her fantasy, other fantasy beside Disney World. Mary, would you like to take it away?
Thank you, Yasmin. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I am a hopeless romantic. I watch all the romance movies on TV, go to the movie theaters whenever there's a great romance novel, and I always love the happily ever after. So my fantasy would be to be in a romantic comedy movie, to be the lead and find Mr. Right and have all these wonderful experiences and the light kiss that makes your heart aflutter, and then get married and be happily ever after, just like in Snow White and Cinderella. Find my handsome prince. That's my most perfect fantasy. But as fantasies are, they're make-believe. And the real world is, I'm single, probably will remain single the rest of my life. But that's my best fantasy. Back to you, Yasmin.
Wow, what a fantasy that everyone would like it to be a reality rather than a fantasy. I'm waiting for the comedy romantic movie to come in, Mary, where you are playing in the lead. And I'm sure it's going to happen soon. Thank you. That's wonderful. You help us learn, Mary, that imagination has no age. Imagination has no age. Let me know from some other Toastmaster what they think about it. Imagination has no age. Aha. Sarah, would you like to give us your thoughts on this? Imagination has no age.
Imagination has no age. We tend to think that children are the most imaginative people in the world. Like they have some fantasies with imaginary friends, or with their games, they imagine they are in other worlds, etc. However, when I was a child, I remember playing also with my grandparents, and they happened to be also so imaginative as I was, or maybe more. They helped me to build these small houses with very simple materials, or they took me to the playground. They were really fun. Sometimes I was thinking, are they just children in another bodies, in old bodies? Or what's happening here? Why are my parents not like them? When I was growing up, I noticed that, yeah, children are imaginative, but when you grow up, you can still be so imaginative and so playful. And it's better to be like this, because then you are also creative. You can solve problems. You can think more positive, I think. And now I think that imagination is something we should never lose, and we should apply this to our normal lives. Thanks for the question, and back to you, Jasmine.
So true, Sarah. Like the giggles of childhood, like imagination is something we tend to lose. We become so robotic. And thanks for the reminder that we should not lose it as we age. Okay, the famous Walt Disney. You know what was one of his famous quote? It's like, if you can dream it, you can do it. If you can dream it, you can do it. I see many of you nodding, and I'm just gonna pick up Lauren to share her thoughts on this.
Thank you, Yasmin. I think it's a great mantra to live by. I wanted to be my own boss and have my own hours. I started out as a news producer. I liked the job in many aspects because I got to inform the public on what was going on, keep them safe, or inform them of bills. However, it was the night shift that was really hard to go through because everything happens during the day. During the day, I was sleeping. I decided I wanted to go on my own and start my own business. I didn't know what to have in my, I didn't know what my business should be though. Over time, I fell into instructional design, which is creating videos and e-learning. Now, my dream has come true and I'm my own boss. I can attend this Toastmasters without having to commute because I work from home. I think that's a good mantra and I'm lucky to live by it.
Lauren, such an inspiring story. So true. It's like if you could dream bigger, even when it didn't existed, you just had a dream that you want to be your own boss. And if you just have the thing there and you then act on it and you get there. So true, Lauren. Thanks for sharing. We learned a little bit more about you. And as always, we are so impressed. Let's get going, ladies and gentlemen. We have to know from Jerry, because now I'm going to first pick up the Toastmaster and then throw my question. Jerry, which is your favorite Disney character? Which is your favorite Disney character and why?
Thank you, Yasmin. Actually, I have no favorite Disney character because at my age, we didn't have much experience to visit Disneyland, and also have very little time to watch the movie of Disney. But speak of the character, the most favorite character should be his name is the Chinese famous martial art Dragon Chen, because he grew up from nobody, but he owned fantasy. He had dreams and joined the art school to practice the martial arts. He went through so many pains and worked very hard. In the end, he achieved big success. I like this character. It's a true person. Thank you. Back to Toastmaster.
Lovely, Jerry. Lovely. Thanks for sharing. No doubt that you are a hardworking person and you would pick up a character which have had made its own way, like, you know, have had a life and from nowhere stands up and goes. These characters in a way are portrayal of our day-to-day life. And I think one of the reasons Disney is so popular is because everyone could relate to some of the other character and get inspired. Super. And let's see what's popular in the other end of the world. So from Titin, I would like to know, Titin, what's the popular Disney character amongst your house? So the favorite one for your children. Would you tell us about the favorite Disney characters of your children?
The favorite Disney character of my children, actually, I think they don't really have any, but we bought them some utensils with the Disney characters on it. Like, for example, this water bottle with the princess. We have two, because I have two daughters. And it turned out that they like drinking. Usually I provide them with the juice, fruit juice, or some vegetable juice for them. And when they drink with this kind of bottle, instead of just any plain glass or bottle, it seems that they like the fruit juice better. So I would say that the characters that they like will be the princess. I think their name is Aurora and Cinderella, perhaps. These two characters from Disney. Well, I'm not sure if they are aware of the princesses' names, but I think that they like how it is seen on their Tumblr. And I'm happy that they like their fruit juice better with this. I think only these two, the Disney character that they have at home. And other than that, my first daughter, okay, I think she doesn't really like to play dolls. And my second one, she likes to play something which is cuter than this and not something which is so elegant like princesses. However, yeah, I like the fantasy that Disney brings to us. Okay, back to you, Yasmin.
Ooh la la. Have you guys noted mothers are always mothers? And core benefits of Disneyland. You can make your children drink trick them with those fancy Disney water bottles. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have had underestimated this power of Disney World, the commercialization, please note it again. It's a huge commercial business that is being supported through those Disney characters and those theme parks. So reminder, I have, is there someone in the room which is looking very seriously at the timings? I've had not, hey, Michelle, you are there. I am not sure, Michelle, if talking is going to be comfortable for you. Okay, so Michelle, how can I just finish without hearing your Disney experience? Tell us about the most fantastic Disney experience you have had.
Fantastic. Thank you, Hasmin, and thank you whoever chose the theme. Disneyland, the word of the day, fantasy. My life has actually been a fantasy. There's so many things in life that could have gone south, but I decided I want it the other way. And I definitely believe that if you dream something, or if you can imagine something, then it can happen. You can make it happen. And the last 3 years with COVID and everybody, so many people saying that they have had bad experiences, has actually been a fantasy for me. I met Dave in May 2020, which is the height of COVID, lockdown and everything. And I met him and it's just been incredible. Sometimes we would sit on our deck and Tiger has been there and Ayu and Deja and Kevin, yeah, they've been there. We've had dinner. We would just sit there and it's a fantasy for me. This is like living the dream. In fact, I have a t-shirt. It got faded, so I'm trying not to wear it too often. It says, living the dream. And I had been planning to recreate it with a new print, so it's not too faded. Living the dream. And right now you might be saying, whoa, you have stage 3 cancer. You're in a fantasy. Yes, in every fairy tale fantasy, there is a climax or a counter climax where there is a challenge that the characters have to overcome. So I'm there right now, but I'm still in the fantasy. And just like most fairy tales, I'm sure it's going to turn out okay. So thanks for the question. Back to you.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. I'm absolutely speechless to note the courage and the fantasy and the dream that you carry. You are, I'm just going to leave it here. I have no words. I think everyone would understand without me speaking. Thank you so much, Michelle. That would have been, nothing better would have had concluded the table topics the way that you did. And we all honestly, sincerely, from the bottom of our heart, love you, and you stand as our inspiration. With this, I will like to give it back to our Toastmaster of the day today. Excuse me if there is anyone in the room who wanted to speak but could not, just to respect the time. I would like to switch on and hand it over to the Toastmaster of the day again.
Thank you. Now we're moving to our last section, which is the evaluation section. The general evaluator was Stephen, but he's not here. Is there anyone that would like to be the general evaluator?
I can go ahead and jump in.
Okay, thank you. I'll hand it over to you.
So our first evaluator is Sarah. So Sarah, it's all yours.
Thank you, Tiger. It is my honor to evaluate Dini's speech because I have already seen her in other roles and it was incredible. Today, it was also the case because Dini, you did it like a professional. And I was all the time like listening to you, to your message, and the structure, how you start and how you finish. I really find it was a very good structure speech. You started with a very powerful phrase with this, life is a journey. And from this moment, I was just expecting what's gonna come. And then you started with this conversational style, which really engaged me. And not only because of this style of speech, but also because of the questions, like, what is your strength? And you did it several times so that in this moment, the audience, I'm sure, were relating to this question and thinking by ourselves, that's a good question. What is what makes me feel or what makes me think about myself? So it was a very good way to engage to the audience. So I really like this introduction, this creative conversational speech. And I also like how you mentioned your strength, like performing on stage and also engaging with people. One recommendation is that you use 3. Like it is like magic of 3. So maybe for the next time you could think about another strength, because I'm sure you have it, and mention 3 points. I also really like your vocabulary. For example, one phrase that I really like is embodying another character during your theater lessons. So a very good one. And finally, I will give you some comments for improvement, but more than improvement, something you can add to make your speech even more memorable. And one is, there's one part in your speech when you are describing some serious situation you are going, some serious experience. In this moment, I recommend you to go slowly and make a pause. Make us think more about it. Make us more reflect about what you have just said. I'm sure in theater you have seen it makes some suspense when you pause a little bit. And the last one is increase the time for the message. You have a really special message and you bring it at the very, very end. Maybe before you go to the end, start giving us some information about the message and then take it again for the end, for the conclusion of your speech. So in general, great speech. You look very professional on stage. Just keep it like this and add these small points for more impact on the speech. Thank you very much, and back to you, Tiger.
Thank you, Sarah. Professional evaluation for a professional speech. How about that? Now, our second speaker was so good that there's really no reason for an evaluation. So we're just going to move on to our grammarian. Just kidding. Jerry, it's all yours. And you better have a lot of nice things to say or I'm going to cut you off.
So it's my time to evaluate the table topics. First, Mary, wow, your humor and body language, I like it very much. And I like the way of your storytelling. You let us get back to your romantic experience, and but very engaging with your humor. I like it. The second one is Sarah. Sarah, I like your opening, and then you have the structure: opening, body, conclusion. It's a very well organized table topic speech in only 2 minutes. I also like your body language. When during your speech, you use your hand and your facial expression give your aids. That's very good. The third one is Lauren. Lauren, use the mantra and use your own story, justify itself about the dream, live the dream and your journey and your accomplishment is very inspiring. And surely you use many good language and of grammar. The fourth one is myself. I'm not going to judge myself. Okay. So the fifth one is Tita. Tita, I like your vision aids. You use the water bottles to show what is the favorite characters for your children, and we can see very clearly, not only by listening, by hearing, but also can see what you like, what you want to convey the information to us. It's quite good. The last one is Michelle. I just want to repeat living the dream, and everything will be perfect. We'll be back to good, to best. Thank you. Back to Tiger.
Excellent job, Jerry. That's a tough thing to do, is evaluate that many different short speeches. So excellent job. Living the dream. I remember I was out in a little paddle boat with my son, my wife. I have twin sons, and the one just out of the blue goes, "Dad, I'm living the dream." He's like 6 years old. I was like, where did he pick that up? Let's move on to our grammarian. Teton, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Tiger. Let me share the screen. Okay, it is a pleasure listening to all of your speeches this morning. And now I would like to point out the sum of the words and sentences that can be improved. Not many, I found 2 only. First one, my mentor asked to me a question. That was the thing that I heard, the sentence that I heard. My suggestion will be no need to use the word to. It should be removed because it is unnecessary. So my mentor asked me a question. Second one, a famous Chinese martial art. Here, the speaker was referring to a person. So I believe it should be martial artist instead of martial art. Now, moving to the number of times the word of the day, fantasy, were mentioned. Yasmin tries, a tiger once, in another form, fantasizing. Mary tries, Sarah once, and Michelle 5 times, mentioning the word of the day for today. And I do find wonderful quotes and thoughts that I would like to share with you. First one from Toastmaster Dini, life is a journey. Next one from her intriguing question. Third one, this experience ignited my love for stage performances. Okay. Fourth one from her, a self-discovery might take time. That is life. Last one from her, each one of us is unique. Okay, from Tiger, Michelle being Michelle. From Yasmin, imagination has no age. From Sarah, when you grow up, you can still be imaginative and creative. Okay, from Yasmin, if you can dream it, you can do it. From Lauren, I wanted to be my own boss. From Michelle, my life has been a fantasy. Another one from her, if you can dream of something, you can make it happen. And last one from her, living the dream. Okay, with that, I conclude my grammarian's report. Thank you. I return the screen to Tiger.
Thank you so much for teaching a professional grammarian's report for sure. It's going to be a tough act to follow, Mary, but it's all yours.
I agree. Titin sets the bar so high. I really admire her wonderful grammarian report. So mine's not nearly as savvy. I just have a few words to say, but not many, because as filler words go, I just didn't hear any. Typically, the main reason people put in filler words is when they're speaking and thinking fast. Perhaps because you're conversing from, or converting is the word I needed, from another language to English, it's allowing your brain to catch up, because I am not hearing filler words in this group. The only ones I heard, and this is the first time I really have ever noticed this, somebody that was purposefully using filler words as a gesture of thinking. Denny used it in her speech. She was saying, well, she was very purposeful in wanting to use those filler words. And I thought, wow, that's really great. And it's the only ones I really heard that were, in my mind, filler words. I will say Lauren said one, if when introducing Tiger. So she said if but I think she said if and then she said when. So I think it was just a pause and thing. And it said Sarah repeated what's happening here. Very small, minor filler word. Those are the only ones I caught. Excellent job, RSS Toastmasters. You really have nailed the being able to get those filler words out of your speaking. Well done. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mary, for that very positive report. And you see, she actually listened to me. She did not count my filler words. Thank you, Mary. Our timer. Now, I want you all to recognize that it is midnight where Heidi is. So Heidi, in terms of being a timer at this time of night, we are very impressed. It's all yours. You can unmute. Thank you.
Okay. I was trying to try to share my screen, but turns out that I still cannot do that. I share my chat, a picture, a capture on the chat box. You can open it and see their time general report. For the prepared speaker, Tini, she used 7 minutes to 23 seconds. Tiger, you used 7 minutes 31 seconds. Next time, pay attention to the 1 second. You're over time for your prepared speech. Table topic, Yasmin used 17 minutes 50 seconds. for the table topic, generally everybody's on time, within the 2 minutes and 15 seconds. For the evaluator, Sarah, she used 3 minutes, 16 seconds. So it's on time, I will say that. Jerry, table topic, he evaluated several, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 table topic speakers, that he used 2 minutes, 41 seconds. He actually, I think Jerry has a lot of time to evaluate. Next time, maybe you can speak more and give more suggestions, maybe. A hard counter, Mary, she used 2 minutes, 1 second. Grand Mary and Tintin used 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Very detailed. Grand Mary, I love that. Above all is my report. Back to you, Tiger.
Thank you so much, Heidi. And welcome to Tuesday. And by the way, I am absolutely convinced that my speech was 7 minutes and 30 seconds, but that's okay. Excellent job. Thank you so much, Heidi. I'm looking around, I'm thinking, oh, hey, do we have any more evaluations? I think that was it. Wow. So I get to do my general evaluation. How about that? Let's start with Jerry. That was impromptu. I threw him under the bus a few seconds before the meeting, and he did a fantastic job. Evaluating table topics is one of the most difficult things to do, I believe. And Jerry, you knocked it out of the park, buddy. Good job. Speech evaluations. Sarah. We should all look to Sarah as a role model for speech evaluations. She was positive. She gave specific things that she liked. She gave specific recommendations that Danny can use to assist her in the future. She started very positive. She gave recommendations. She ended on a positive note. Excellent evaluation. Very well done. Our grammarian, what can we say about Titan? I love the fact that she doesn't just tell us, but she shows us on the screen, and how she can write notes that fast, I have no idea, but that is fantastic. It is obvious that she is an English teacher. Thank you for giving the good things that were said, but also for a few corrections. Everyone here, except for Mary and I, speak this language as a second language, and it just, oh, Lauren, sorry, Lauren. It's amazing to me, absolutely astounding to me that you guys can speak this language so well. I teach this language across the world, and it makes me realize just how difficult this language is. I'm trying to learn Indonesian. Oh my goodness. It really makes me appreciate how difficult it is to learn a second language. So kudos to everybody. Heidi, thank you so much for putting the times in the chat. That's very helpful. The fact that you couldn't share your screen is irrelevant. You gave us all the times. I still have a complaint about my 7:31. I know it was 7:30, but we'll give you a break because it's midnight. But excellent, and we really appreciate you being here. This meeting was a wonderful meeting. RSS always has wonderful meetings. I always walk away on Monday. You know, Monday mornings are a hard day for a lot of people. I love Monday mornings. I look forward to Monday mornings for 4 years now, and it never disappoints me. Lauren, wow. If I had not known that this was your first time during the Toastmaster of the day, I would have never have known. That was very well done. It was a wonderful theme, a fun theme. And we really appreciate the fact that Yasmin followed up with the theme and asked questions about the theme. You know, fantasy is a wonderful thing. Imagination, fantasy, this is a wonderful thing. And the one thing I will take away from this meeting, living the dream. If you can say that in your life, congratulations. Because dreaming is important, but dreaming doesn't have to be out there. Your dreams don't have to be a fantasy. Your dream can be your reality. And if you can say to other people and feel yourself that you're living your dream, wow, that is an awesome thing. That is a goal of mine that I have not obtained yet, but hopefully, before I leave this earth, I can say that. So thank you so much, Michelle, for those inspiring words. I think we will all take away living the dream from this meeting. Overall, this was a great meeting. What do I want to say? I want to say that everybody is encouraged to give speeches. Let's stick with our pathway speeches. I appreciate that most people have been doing pathway speeches. Let's continue to do your pathways. And I encourage everybody to try and do a speech once a month, if not more, but at least do a speech once a month. And I also recommend and encourage you, once you do a speech and you get feedback, do it again. I'm always amazed that people give one speech and then don't do it again. I realize that that's time consuming. At the very least, take the recommendations you get from your speech and apply it to another one. But for me, writing a speech takes a long time, so only do it once to me seems like kind of a waste. But at the very least, let's try and encourage everybody to do a speech once a month, stick with your pathways. If you need any help, reach out. We have very experienced people here, Teton, Yasmin, Sarah. There's a lot of people here that can help, Mary. So reach out to people if you need a little bit of coaching. But overall, this was a wonderful meeting. I really appreciate the fact that everyone is showing up. You made a commitment on the agenda and you showed up. Greatly appreciate that. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Tiger. I'll close the meeting by saying, even though today was a rough one for Walt Disney's first opening day for the theme park, it turned out to be a wild success. Don't be afraid to live your dream or chase after your dream, because it can turn into something amazing. With that, I'll turn the meeting over to our president. Is that Yasmin? Or Mary? Mary, okay. You're on mute.
It clicked back off. Sorry about that. First time being Toastmaster Day, I echo what Tiger said. Who'd have known? I love the little facts that you added. I loved your background, and I love the opportunity to wear my Disney ears. I only got to wear them when I was in Disney, and I've been for, so like, oh God, I get to wear my Minnie Mouse ears. Yay. So thank you for that. It was a fun meeting. Always a pleasure to be among you. Well, I feel inspired and uplifted, and it starts my day. For those, some of you, it ends your day, but what a nice way to end the day as well. Just a couple of announcements. The number one, I'm going to remind you once again the importance of paying your dues by July 31st. Toastmasters is increasing their dues from $45 American dollars to $60 American dollars. So $15 increase, pretty big. But if you pay by July 31st, you can do it for 6 more months at the $45 cost. We have an ability now to pay for ourselves using the self-pay in Toastmasters.org. So you just go to Toastmasters.org. And if you scroll down, there actually is a little thing says, hey, you want to pay now? You click on it and it'll walk you through and you can pay for yourself. I'm not sure how we're doing the club dues. We'll have to touch base with the treasurer.
Yeah, we don't have any club.
We don't have any club dues. Great. Then yeah, so just pay that. So it will save you $15. Unfortunately, I only can pay for 6 months. You can't pay for the whole year. I tried. So that was my biggest announcement. The second one, just to remind club officers, but of course, anybody that's a Toastmaster member can attend what's called a Toastmaster Leadership Institute, TLI. It's geared towards new club officers to give them information on how to be a club officer and what their role entails. But typically they'll have some additional leadership training out of it. They sometimes have extra sessions that you can attend. And also, if you're thinking about being an officer in the future, this gives you a heads up. You can get some training. We want to make sure that all of our officers are trained, start the new year out right. If you'll go onto the D7 Toastmaster website, you can find out when the training sessions are, but you can go to anything throughout the world. This Zoom has just opened up just a wide variety now of opportunities for training and being in Toastmasters. Last thing I want to say is I have been traveling around, living my dream since March. I spent 3 months living in an RV down in the state of Florida. Really had a wonderful time, went to the beach almost every day. And I came back for a few days and then I went to Portugal for 9 days. I was supposed to go with a Toastmaster friend, but she didn't get her passport done in time. So I ended up going by myself. And I was really afraid. I have never traveled by myself before and to a foreign country. I was so nervous. But as many times happens, you find you're a lot tougher and stronger than you think you are. And I met so many wonderful people. The people in Portugal were so open, so friendly and helpful. Most spoke English. There was just a very few older people that didn't, but even then, when I said bus, they could point to where the bus stop was. So I had lots of help. I will share with you some pictures. I went to 2 Toastmaster meetings in Portugal in person. I've always told people, take advantage of, when you go on travel, go to a Toastmaster meeting, great way to meet new people, but never took advantage of it myself until this trip. So I went to both in Porto, Portugal, and in Lisbon, Portugal. And I'll share later pictures of the club. We had a group picture after the meeting. So much fun. The one in Porto, we went out for drinks and dinner after. And that meeting was from 8 to 10 p.m. So late at night, and then almost every meeting, either before or after, they meet for drinks and sometimes for dinner. So it was, what a wonderful evening, great way. I met lots of new people and got some great traveling tips of things to see and do. So I encourage you, if you're ever traveling, go on to Toastmasters.org. Look, you can search the area and find Toastmaster groups in the area. It was a lot of fun. The meetings were in Portuguese, but at least one of the meetings, they had somebody sit next to me and kind of summarize it in English. People spoke English, but they said 1 meeting a month is in English. So you can find, even in foreign countries, meetings in English. And I think they enjoyed talking to me and practicing their English. So, a lot of fun. That's kind of my last Toastmaster announcement. Is there any other, my club officers here, is there any other announcements that need to be added?
Yeah, Madam President, just to bring to your attention, we had received $50 for camping, sort of campaigning our club. We can publicize it on either through a live Facebook event or something through the Toastmaster website. I'll share the details with you, but I just want to say that we should also use that opportunity. And it's basically given to us as a prize money.
Okay, great. I did see something about that. Thank you for reminding me, Yasmin. Sarah, you had your hand up. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, as Vice President of Membership, I just wanted to give an update on Lauren application. It is already in process, and in the next days, Lauren, I hope we can welcome you as officially as a new member. Just wanted to say this.
Great, what a wonderful addition. That's wonderful. Anybody else? Okay, with that, I will turn it over to our VPE to get our agenda for next meeting. I don't see any guests. I think we're all members here, right? I'm not sure of that. Am I wrong? Okay.
Heidi,
Thank
before
you
you
all.
go real quick,
Yeah, go ahead, Tiger. I see people having to get off. So go ahead, Tiger. And